gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 25-26 fixture discussion by the view from the Medway Fancast in partnership with Gillingham FC Supporters Club and Her Game 2, sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wicked Creative. On a day where fixtures were announced, on a day where everybody started making their plans, and on a day where Shrewsbury decided to announce Will Boyle as the next Maldini. I'm wondering if they want any chips with that salt. So, without further ado, I will introduce this evening co-host David. We are joined by Tom Jasper, who we had a wardrobe malfunction with, and Warren. So, how are we, gentlemen?
Evening, Chris.
Good, thank you.
All good, mate.
Should I say evening podcast? Should I say evening podcast?
Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, I started a new job recently, and now all of my staff call me podcast or poddy, which is relatively annoying. So Warren, I'll hand over to you, mate, and we'll get started with the views news.
Evening, guys. So we're going to talk about the free signings or new signings as such for this week. So Conor Masterson, what do we think, Tom? I know that you put something out during the week on Twitter.
Yeah. I was sort of resigned to him going a little while back, thinking, right, who are we going to bring in to replace him? I'd heard on the grapevine last weekend that he was going to sort of re-sign. He maybe hadn't had the interest, or maybe a change of heart. But whatever has happened, I'm glad he's here now. I think, we're a better team at the end of last season with him in it. I think he's old enough now to be a decent kind of senior centre back, even though he's only 26, maybe 27. And I think it's a good positive step that he wanted to stay. Whether or not he had offers elsewhere remains to be seen. But I think the fact that he wanted to stay, albeit for a year, is positive in terms of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, cheers, Tom. Chris, I'll come to you next. Will Boyle or Conor Masterson? Who would you rather have had? And do you think that the Will Boyle transfer was a G up to get Masterson to sign?
Potentially. It might have been. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely would prefer Conor over Will Boyle. No disrespect to him. But, a player that came back against Bradford last season, and we kind of looked at a different side with him within the starting 11. I think David alluded to it as well when we spoke about it. He said, he got booked quite early on in that game, but then still went on to have a really good game and scored the goal against Bradford. Maybe there was a little bit of Max Amer being dropped that helped within that. I don't know. But I definitely, Conor staying, I would have liked to have seen it be a 2-year or 3-year deal, but I fully understand why it's only a 1 year. So, yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with Conor signing.
David, do you think with Conor signing, we'll play a 5 at the back or 4 at the back for next season?
I think we might start with a 5. I think we're going to start the way we finished, but I would like to think pretty quickly we will go to a 4. Who that would be, again, will probably be Masterson +1. But yeah, I think overall, this is the one out of all the players that were up for their contracts being expired. This is the one that I thought we needed to sign, and I'm glad he has. And a bit like Chris, I'm a little surprised it's only a 1-year deal. I'm sure there's reasons behind it, and potentially there's one of those options for an extra year somewhere hidden, maybe. But I think overall, really happy, and it's his time to shine now. He's the experienced one. Out the centre halves that we've currently got, and it's his time to lead the other defenders.
Yeah, for my 2 pennies worth, I think if Gareth Ainsworth has stopped him sulking, and I think at the end of last season he had, I thought he was a bit more with it at the end of the season than he was the beginning. I'm quite happy that he signed again. I'd prefer to have the Conor Masterson from the end of last season than the previous 18 months. Mm-hmm. So, it's a good deal, and I think he's probably a better centre half than Will Boyle. So, we move on to Sam Vokes. David, I'll come to you first. What is your views on the signing of Sam Vokes at 36?
I'm really happy with it. I think this could be a bit of a masterclass, this one. Don't snip that just in case it's not. But it's got the Dion Burton vibes about it, and I think it's what we've missed for a long time, having that old head up front. I think on the last podcast we did, I mentioned Sam Vokes and I mentioned Ollie Palmer. I thought that's the type of centre forward that we need. I said, looking at his goal scoring record, I think over his career he's a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 type striker, and I think for someone of his size, it's obviously going to be a target man. I think if he can produce those numbers for us next year, I think he's more than done his job, and then it's down to the other ones around him to feed off him, and hopefully he can provide those so they can get their numbers up, because we need a striker to score some goals next year, and hopefully he can provide some assists and provide some distractions that the others can flourish off.
Tom, I'll go to you next. What do you think this means for Josh Andrews?
I think actually it could be a positive move. I don't think it necessarily means that he's not got a future. I think it means that he's got a bit of a positive, role model there in Vokes. Let's face it, Vokes has got a pedigree. He's not played at this level before. He's only ever played League One and above, which indicates what a career he's had over the last 18 years or so. Andrews hasn't been fit, and he'll need ushering back in slowly. And I don't think Vokes himself will play a lot either, in terms of he won't get 40 plus games out of him. So Andrews, if he can learn from someone like Sam Vokes for the year that he's here, it's a positive thing, because I think there's a player in there in Andrews, but we haven't seen him yet in any sort of consistency. I don't think it means that he's out of the team, out of the squad. I just think it means that he's got someone there alongside him. I do think that if what David said about playing with a 5 means that we might play with more of a structured 2 up top, Vokes could be one of those. But I think it will be more a case of coming on maybe from the bench and trying to make an impact rather than starting all the games in the season. So back to your first question, I think Andrews could learn from him. There's similar kind of attributes there in the two players, but Vokes has got a lot more about him in terms of his sort of pedigree and experience. So it can only be a good thing for him, I reckon.
Yeah. Chris, with the signing of Sam Vokes, we've now got 6 strikers on the book. So you look at the new guy, Seb, and I forget his surname because it's so long-winded, it blows me away.
Holden.
Yeah, two double-barrel surnames should be banned. Sorry.
Heard it here first.
Yeah. You're never going to get it on the back of your shirt, are you?
Well, I don't know, mate. the home shirt and the away shirt, you've got CNA Building Products at the top, so it's going to be a difficult one already.
Yeah, don't get me on the kits. We'll be here all night. It'll be another Newport and icy pitch moment.
Oh no, yeah.
So we've got Seb, we've got Sam Vokes, we've got Josh Andrews, we've got Elliot Nevitt, we've got Joe Bodie, and we've got Marcus Wiley. Where do you see that going? Because you're never going to keep 6 strikers happy when you only either play 1 or 2 up front.
But you're not. But then you've also got a little bit of versatility there because Joe Bodie can play on the left. Seb Palmer Holden can play right wing or like in a 4-3-3, I suppose. And then you could play him on the right and then play someone like Sam Vokes, Josh Andrews or Elliot Nevitt down the middle. So you do have a bit of versatility there if you were to play that system. I think the likes of Marcus Wiley, I like him. I really do like him. I think that he's one of the only players last season, at the start of the season, when we got to October, that really looked like he was actually trying for the team. But, is he, I say this, he's 26, 27. Is he too old to then jump from step 5 to League 2? There's a question mark there. You can't fault his effort, but effort doesn't win you football games. It's a difficult one. Like going back to how we would line up at the back. If we're playing a 5, we're not going to play a 3 up the top, are we? So if we're playing a 4 at the back, then maybe we'll be playing maybe a 4-3-3. I know everybody hated it under Bonner, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't work. It just is the way it's the conviction of it, really. It depends. There's so many question marks. 6 strikers, as you say. Some of them can play wing. I just think that you'd have probably Elliot Nevitt and Sam Vokes as your main vocal point if Josh Andrews isn't going to be fit, and then maybe play around with the wingers. But then obviously you then lose Aaron Rowe as a winger if you're then going to play Joe Bodie and Seb on the wings. So time will tell. We will see, mate, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. We come to the last signing there. This was the one that impressed me more than anything else. Apart from 45 minutes at Newport, I thought Andy Smith was top drawer when he played. And I'm glad that he signed. I personally, if Andy Smith plays, can't see Sam Gale getting into the side.
Oh dear.
Okay.
That's a statement.
Now, I say that because I think Gareth will want to play with a 4. With the signing of Vokes, I think he'll play 2 up front, and I think he'll play 2 wide midfield players. And I think that it will be very difficult to play with a 5 with the players that we've got and the way I think Gareth wants to play. I may be wrong, but I would say that Andy Smith gets in ahead of Sam Gale. That might be harsh on poor Sam, right? And maybe Sam might play at right back and Hutton moves wider. I don't know. Moves into a more forward position. I don't know what Gareth's got in mind, but I think Sam Gale's chances will be quite limited, and I think people are going to be a little bit shocked by it. So the signing of Andy Smith, Chris, I know that you've spoken to Andy on a few occasions. What's your opinion on the signing of Andy Smith?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Apart from the Newport game, where I think the whole back line had a terrible game. He's been consistent for us. I believe he got injured towards the end of the season, therefore we didn't see him as much as we should have done. But I really rate him. I think that his reading of the game, if you watch him, he's like 10 steps ahead of everyone else. He just reads it so well. He reminds me, obviously different position, but when we first brought Scott Malone in, and he was 10 steps ahead of everyone, like with reading the game. And I just think it's a real coup for us, because I do feel that he could play at a higher level. We won't tell everyone that, With regard to Sam Gale, I don't necessarily think so. As you alluded to, he can play it right back. But then there's the question mark there about Romeo Hutton. Where would you then play him? Maybe play Sam Gale there if Romeo Hutton's injured. Also have to think about Harry Webster. Like, he came in last season and he played a really good few games, and then we just never saw him again. And then he went out on loan to Chatham. I appreciate he's only 18 years old, but there's got a bit. I think that if you're looking to get out of this division, you need at least 2 players in every position. So I don't know if I play Sam Gale there. I think it's a controversial one, you saying about Sam Gale, because he's one of our own. I think we sometimes get blinded by that. But I would still probably play Sam Gale in that back line.
In a 4?
And in a 4, I'd probably play him in a 5. He's got a lot of pace for a centre back / wing back. So I'd probably play him in a 5 and play him with, I don't know, if I had to choose now, I don't like to drop Shadogi, because Shadogi is one of my favourite players, but I'd play Sam Gale, Connor Masterson and Andy Smith in a back 5. That would be a back 5. And then
the problem with that, Chris, is you've got 3 right footers.
Yeah. Well,
whereas Shad's a left foot.
But yeah, and Shad, I just think he's got a ricket in him, as James always alludes to when he comes on. He's got a bit of but he's kind of ironing it out. So yeah, anyway, I would still play with Sam Gale. If we were playing a 4, answer to your question, I don't agree with you. I would still play Sam Gale and one other as a 4. As a 5, I'd play Sam Gale, Connor Masterson and Andy Smith. There you go.
Okay. I think it's a bit lopsided, and I think you're dreaming if Sam Gale was going to get into a 4 if we play 4 at the back. Okay. David, I'll come to you, right? Because obviously I'm being controversial in saying Sam Gale will not make the first team. What's your thoughts on Andy Smith, and where do you believe he fits into Ainsworth's system, even though we don't know what Gareth wants to play next season, and we're only surmising that he'll either go with a 5 or a 4. He might go with a 6 and surprise us all and play like Tony Pulis. But what's your thoughts on Andy Smith, and where do you believe he fits in?
I really like this one, and I think the 3-year contract shows that the club like this one, and it's almost a protect him while we've got him, and it's almost he's one they may look to get some money out of if he reaches his peak. And yeah, no, I really like him, and I agree with you, Warren. As I said, I do think they will start as a 5, but if they went to a 4, I wouldn't want Sam Gale in the middle of a 4. I would have Masterson and Smith if it was a 4. But that's what Gareth gets paid for. I think only time will tell. But as I said, I would be very shocked if at Accrington first game we don't line up with 3 centre halves. I'd just be very surprised. How long that lasts, I don't know.
Might be a nice little present for you.
Yeah.
Playing 4. Tom, Andy Smith. I know you do your blog and everything else. You write a lot about League 2 and whatever. What's your thoughts on Andy Smith as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice surprise to have him. I think it was one that was kind of in the offing based on what he said from the end of the season. I think he was keen to come down. And 3 years, as we said, shows a lot of faith in him as an individual. So, yeah, good signing on the face of it, and shows that we're heading in the right direction. I think to then kind of segue into the debate about where he's going to play, I think Gareth came in. I expected Gareth to come in last season and shake it all up a little bit and play the way that he wants to play. I think that the squad was so shot on confidence that he said, right, let's keep it as it is. Let's play with a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whatever you want to look at it, and let's get some stability. And I think he thought, actually, it's looking quite good. I quite like it. I've got 3 centre halves that are quite solid. My wing backs are improving. I ain't going to change it. So I think that he's brought Smith in and renewed Connor with the idea of playing that same way, because it might not be what he's used to, but he's not brought in the players to play his way, if you like. He's not brought in the players I expect. I think he's brought in players that he knows are going to continue to do a job for us in the way that we played last season. So I think you'll see a back three of Connor, Sam and Andy. Again, yeah, it's a little bit lopsided, but I don't think it was too much of an issue. I would be surprised to see Sam Gale dropped, although that sounds a little bit harsh to say it would be dropped, because his kind of progression needs to be consistent if he's going to get anywhere. There's no point in breaking through last season and then not playing sort of at all this time around. So I think it will be a 3-5-2 or, you know, a 5-3-2, whatever you look at it. Shad is unfortunately left out of that equation, but he will then be the first reserve in terms of that sort of backup central defender, and I wouldn't be adverse to that. So it's nice in a way for us to have options, to not go, oh, that's what we're going to do. It's nice for us as fans to go, right, well, we could do this, could do that, because it shows that we've got strength in depth, and the ability to be a little bit more versatile with it. But yeah, when it comes to Atkinson on the 2nd of August, I don't know how we're going to line up. It will be a guess.
Okay, so obviously Max Clark signed a new contract at left back, and 3 of you have alluded to the fact that we'll play 5 at the back because we're going to all fit Sam Gale into the team. Max Clark, I don't think, is a good enough wing back. So we would need to sign a wing back. Yes or no? That's the answer to the question. No long-windedness. Yes or no, David? Do we need to sign a new left? Chris?
No.
Tom?
No.
Well,
2 each.
If you're going to be playing your 5 at the back, there's no way Max Clark is going to do it for us. So,
but then to be fair, Warren, you could turn around and say
we play 4 at the back and we'll drop Sam Gale.
But then if we're playing 5 at the back, you could then argue the fact that maybe he's got plans. I appreciate that Shad didn't do a very good job at left back, but you know he likes to bomb forward, so maybe he's going to try and convert him. You never know.
God help us. God help us. Right, so we're going to go on to my least favourite subject, and that's training kit. And the Warren rant is just about to come into play, right? I didn't like any of the kits, the main 3 kits, for various differing reasons. For me, the training kit, the colours and whatever are great, but why do we continue to put this bloody great badge on the left-hand side? If you look at the training kit, it's quite a big Macron sign. And then Bailey's, because they're our sponsors of our training kit, right? Plastered all over the front. You ain't going to wear that out, surely. Why would you? Why would you? I don't get it. Now, if that training kit had had the badge that was a lot smaller, right? Just a plain little badge with the badge that we had for the away kit, the black away kit, great. But why do we have to have sponsors? Who's going to wear that? Oh, please. And I really appreciate that Bailey's put money into the football club, right? And I love the fact that they want to be involved. But training kit, sponsor, all over it, you ain't going to wear that out. Surely not.
No, but
I'll come to you. Right? What do you think of the training top?
I quite liked the top, as in the t-shirty one. I didn't like the zip thing. It had about 5 Macron logos down the arm, and it just I didn't like the look of that. But I do think it's quite smart, the other one. I do find it weird now that the amount of things that football clubs release for people to buy now. Obviously, you've got free, you've got goalkeepers kits which haven't come out yet. You've got training kits. You've got training tracksuits. You've got a match day polo. You've got another away day polo. It is getting a little bit out of hand.
Dog shirts.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I do think it's getting a little bit much, and the prices as well. I think are getting a little bit silly now. But yeah, the whole training kit type thing. Yeah, I don't really know who does buy a training kit. Oh, Chris does. To be fair, you don't see, unless it's just where I sit. I don't see many people in training tops where I sit. But I suppose it is extra money. But yeah, for me, I like the top. I don't like the zip top thing.
Yeah. Bear in mind, the last Gillingham home shirt I wore was a long sleeved Buckter 78-79 season that had Buckter all going down the arms, and if you didn't feel like you had crabs itching throughout the whole time you had it on, then you was wearing the wrong shirt. So that's how long ago that I bought a shirt. Chris, what do you think of the training gear?
I think it's all right. Like I wanted a black and blue home kit, so it kind of is that. The only issue that I have with it is it does look like one of them hype bags that I used to buy my daughter for school. You'd have like hype, and then it'd have like a starry thing in the background. It does kind of reminisce that. I think it's all right. I wouldn't buy the quarter sleeve. I wouldn't buy any of that, but the t-shirt itself looks all right. Yeah, I don't see the problem with it. With the Bayliss thing, with regard to the Bayliss thing, it's only for the players. Like it happened last season when they released them early. And I was like, oh, yeah, it looks really nice. And I was glad that when I went in the shop, it literally was just a shirt without Bayliss on the front. So you could get away with it if you was going to bowls or, beating people at pool.
I've never beat anyone at pool. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, never.
Yeah. Tom, what do you think of the training kit?
I don't really care. I looked at it and went, yeah, that's all right, and then moved on. I get that the commotion with the kits, because obviously it's a slow news month. The kits are important to people. They're buying for their family and friends, for their kids. I get that completely, and I like it. It's quite breathable. It's quite nice. Model it here for you. But the actual training top, the players wear it for about half hour on a Saturday or a Tuesday. Then we don't see it again after that, and you're not really bothered by it. I wouldn't buy it, but that's not an issue with the kit itself. It's just my personal preference. I wouldn't buy the training top. Probably more popular with the kids, younger generation, which we are not. But yeah, I don't know. It's another thing. I think just to hype the marketing up, which is great because the marketing is brilliant and the commercial part of it's really good and it looks good. But I have no interest in it at all.
Personally, I would prefer more polo shirts with a small little badge. Maybe a jumper, again, with a small little badge. Or even a hoodie without the jewels being plastered all over it and that hideous badge, which I've grown to really hate now. I thought it was great when it first came out, but I think it's outdated. It needs to be a lot smaller. So, for me, no to all the kits, no to the training kit. I'm never going to buy one. I'm an old man. I'd look stupid in it anyway. So I'll end back over to Chris.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe we'll be doing a few T-shirts on the website when the website gets going properly. So you never know. But we'll move on to the fixtures then, I guess. And they're in front of you. So August, we play Accrington away, Walsall at home, Tranmere away, Chesterfield on a Tuesday evening at 7:45 at home, Crewe at home, Oldham Athletic away. September, we got Bromley, Notts County, Newport, Harrogate, MK Dons in October, as well as Cheltenham Town, Grimsby Town, Salford. Then November, we go into Bristol Rovers, Crawley Town, Barnet and Shrewsbury. December, we have Colchester, Barrow, Fleetwood, Cambridge and Colchester again, because that's when they all start. And then we go Swindon, which would be a nice one on the 1st of January. Then Sunday the 4th is Notts County. We've then got MK Dons on the 10th, Newport County, Harrogate, Cheltenham, Bromley, Tranmere to start February, Crewe Alexandra, Chesterfield, Oldham, Barrow, and then March you've got Fleetwood, Cambridge, Swindon, Bristol Rovers, Crawley. April we have got Walsall, Accrington, Salford, Grimsby, and Barnet, and then the last day of the season is our best friends up at Shrewsbury Town. So, boys, what I want to know is you've seen the fixtures. We will get them back up on the screen in a minute when my computer stops playing silly buggers. They are pretty small there, but so David, I'll go with you, mate. I want you to give me 3 fixtures and one that's close to your birthday that you're looking forward to.
Well, I think as most Gills fans do, we never look at August because we're going to be top at the end of August. It's September where things normally start going a little bit downhill. So the August fixtures are all going to be fine. It's from thereafter where we have to start panicking. The fixtures I looked out for were quite a lot of the local ones I've not actually been able to get to. So Bromley away, Crawley away, Cambridge I looked for. And looking at them, I've touch wood, don't tell the wife, but they should all be fine to get to. Barnet, nice new ground towards the end of the season. My birthday's the 3rd of May, so I'm right at the end of the season, normally the last game of the season. So hopefully there might be a trophy on the pitch come the 2nd of May for the Shrewsbury game, and it'll make a really good birthday. But yeah, looking at all the fixtures, there's not one month that really stands out, and I'm thinking, God, that's a tricky one with lots of tough fixtures. There's the odd game scattered there, but I think overall it's a nice layout and a very nice start. I say, even if you look at August, for example, you've got obviously the playoff losers as your first home game, and the other games look quite nice, really. I quite like the look of them.
There we go. And I think David needs to sit down in a psychiatric ward if he thinks that we're going to be lifting a trophy. Come the
we got a hope. We ain't kicked the ball yet.
He didn't say who for. We've had a lot of trophy things.
There is. That's his get out of jail free card.
5 o'clock on the 2nd of August. I might be saying something a bit different.
Yeah, for me, I'm pleased with it, and I'm glad that we didn't get a certain team, Grimsby Town, at the start of October, because we seem to have got that for the last 2 seasons, and that seems to have been our downfall. So yeah, Tom, I'll go for you, mate, and your overview thoughts and the one closest to your birthday that you're looking forward to.
My birthday weekend is Bromley away, so I'm hoping to make that one a celebration. 36 and all that. Still a pup. No, I think
lying.
Look at my hair, you can tell. No, I think we can look at it and go, yeah, that one looks good, but realistically, you just don't know who's going to be anywhere. Like, I always look towards, say, March time, because I think if we're going to be properly going for something in March, whether that be a top 7 spot, you want to look at who the prospective opponents are when, you either make or break your season in March, sort of April time. And obviously, there's some big teams there that we could be playing that could be up there, but they could be also down the bottom. You just don't know. It will really be a case of starting well and maintaining it rather than having a drop off come September the 6th, as David alluded to already. Nothing really stands out. I say the local ones, Bromley, I did Bromley last year. That was a horror show. Crawley, we haven't done for a couple of years, have we? So yeah, there's some good ones there. It will all depend on how we are at the time. Obviously, if you look at the main things like the first day, last day, Boxing Day, all that sort of stuff. And Cambridge at home should be quite juicy on Boxing Day if Neil's still at the helm, if he hasn't gone back to Millwall yet. So, yeah, there's some good ones there. We shall see. Bring it on. It's all feels a little bit more real now that you know that who you're going to be playing and when. Yeah,
and it's quite nice as well, Warren, isn't it? That, we've got, home game on Boxing Day. That's always nice. The return of Harris and Bonner. That's always nice. No one likes to travel away on Boxing Day, do they? Because there's no bloody trains. So yeah, Warren, I'll go with you, mate. The fixtures that stick out for you and the one closest to your birthday.
Right. So for a start, this fixture list has probably been one of the better ones in the last few years, to be honest. I don't mind being away to Accrington first game. In fact, the first month we get 3 of our furthest away trips out of the way in the first month of the season. Now, it's a lot easier to travel to places like Accrington, Tranmere and Oldham in August. And if anyone's been to Oldham on a Tuesday night or a Saturday in January or December, right, you'll know that August is a right result to have them away. Because it is freezing now. I mean, it'll still be minus 40, but at least it's in August and it's not minus 80 with a 200 mile an hour wind blowing.
Yeah.
Overall, the fixtures were good. Swindon is one I look for. New Year's Day, bit of a shocker, that one, but I can understand why it's probably been put to New Year's Day, just like the Tuesday night game. Overall, yeah, we've only got Chesterfield, Cheltenham and Swindon away midweek, which ain't too bad. And the 2 nearest my birthday are Crewe and Chesterfield away, because my birthday's on the 13th. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't bring up 1922. Hold on.
Right, so my birthday's on the 13th of Feb. So,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day in the Lake District, it looks like.
Oh, lovely. Nice one. Nice.
So, I'll probably be on my own, but anyone who wants to go to the Peak District, right, in February needs their head testing. But Chesterfield on a Tuesday night, there's a lovely little Premier Inn that we stayed at last year when we played them on a Tuesday night, and they had a nice little restaurant. Be able to go back and have a drink after, and that's always a good one. So I'm not too dissatisfied. Being at home last game is always good. Boxing Day, I'd like to have had Fleetwood away, which somebody predicted, which was
was that so you can stay in the hotel again, the lovely hotel that you stayed in last season?
Yeah, so unfortunately it's just before Christmas and not. So we might go up there and order Christmas dinner for the 20th.
What was the name of the hotel again?
Regal.
Yeah, the Regal. Yeah, apparently. I don't know. Like, obviously, there are some people with them that didn't watch the show last season, but Warren did send us a lovely video of his tour of his room in the Regal, and yeah, it was special, wasn't it, Warren? It was one of them where it was a view of a wall out the window, basically.
Oh, honestly, £100 a night honestly, £100 a night, right? So if you stay for a week, that's 700 notes. And to be honest, it was probably Regal back in the 1920s, Chris, as you alluded to. But unfortunately, nowadays it's probably a complete shithole.
Yeah.
So the fixtures are pretty good. I think January's a hard month for us. 4 away games at places we would do well or we don't. I think January's tough, and I think Newport away in September we don't normally win there, so I think that could be our Grimsby moment that David was alluding to.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
We could even be Bromley, couldn't it? Let's be honest. Bromley and Newport away in September after they were our 2 worst performances away from home last season.
To be fair, though, in September we can have a Bromley. Like last year, we went down at Bromley, down at Newport, lost at home to Harrogate last year, and Notts County. So we could have all 4 moments, could we, in a month, really, and just repeat it again.
Yeah, and I could also have Tom shouting across the stand at me at Bromley again. When I'm
I wouldn't be the only one. I think a lot more people will shout at you this year.
Yeah, maybe. But no. For me, the closest one to I've said like that it looks pretty good. Closest to me is for my birthday is the Newport game, which is polar opposite to the season before last because we had them in 35-degree heat to the point where I had to like pretty much go home after 60 minutes because it was too hot sitting in the Medway. So we've got them in January, which is good. So my birthday's on the 20th of January. If you want to buy me a present, please don't.
No.
So yeah, that's closest to my birthday. It's kind of like that last day of the season, like it'd be written in the stars, wouldn't it? You know, after the stuff today with Will Boyle and them giving us a little bit of banter, and then us nicking Gareth Ainsworth of them. If we were to, if it was a battle for third place on the last day of the season between the two of us, I think that would just be the pinnacle of the season, wouldn't it? But I'm not quite as optimistic as David with a trophy, but we will see. So before we finish up, boys, because you know it's been a short one tonight. I appreciate that we haven't been on for a while, but it's been a long day. So I would just want to ask each of you. So I'll start with you, Tom. What keeps your mind engaged during pre-season when you've got no football to go to?
The group chat that you don't stop talking on. No, honestly. Yeah, I know I'm lost. No, it's just it's painfully slow sometimes because obviously we're all sat waiting for news of contract renewals and that sort of thing and signings. And without social media, it would probably be a lot better in a way because you wouldn't have this constant supply of information that we're now making a molehill out of a lot of the time. I talk to my family, I see my friends away from football. There's not many of them. They're all Gills fans too, so we talk about the same things anyway. Yeah, no, to be fair, like I'm just rambling on now. You do miss it a lot, don't you? That first game back of the season, whether it's the first week or the second weekend of the season, I think you go walk back in against Preseason feeling like a little kid again, like you've just missed it, and like you want to see it and give it a big old hug again and see all the players and the great new training kits and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's painfully slow in the summer, especially when there's no European football either, or World Cup going on to sort of absolve you a little bit. But yeah, just busting now to get back in and get back into routine.
Yeah. And David, yourself?
Yeah, a bit like Tom, playing a little bit of golf. And other than that, just, trying to keep up on the group chat. Just, checking social media like a saddo, waiting for someone to say something that might have some relevance regarding the Gills. And I said before we came on now, it's gearing up to the players going back and getting ready to say that I'm not going to go to a pre-season friendly, but then go to a pre-season friendly because you need to go and watch some football. And especially now the fixtures are out, it's the countdown now, and I can't see too many more incomings now. So it's probably going to be more outgoings, I would think, than incomings until we get going. Just want to get going now. A bit like Tom. It's when there's no international tournament, it's long, and I'm not watching that pointless thing that's going on in America.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. You know what the Club World Cup thing? What the thing that they've essentially ripped the heart out of the FA Cup for me. But yes, Warren, what keeps you occupied?
I watch porn.
I mean, we're all thinking it, but he said,
"Wow,
that won't make the cut, will it, Chris? Cut that out."
Are we live?
It's live. You can't do anything about it.
No.
There's probably people watching it with their kids and now having to explain what's just happened.
No, honestly, I've always played cricket during a close season, and now I play bowls. So I try and keep away from social media. I try and keep away from the tittle-tattle and the rumour and everything else. I just try and get away from football because I look forward to enjoying coming back.
Yeah.
And I want to look forward to the new season. I don't want to be exhausted by the time the 2nd of August comes around and I've had enough of it already. This year, there's really no pre-season games that I want to go to or I can get to because of work or holiday or whatever. So my season will probably start on the 2nd of August. I think Chatham away is the only game that I'll probably make, and that'll be the kids. But do I really worry about friendlies? I used to. I used to go to nearly all of them. But nowadays, unless there's a ground that I haven't been to, I won't normally go. So last year, I went to Woking because I'd never been there. But this year, there's nothing new. I've been to every ground. There's no pre-season tour anywhere, which I'm a little bit upset with because I actually think a pre-season tour of either 1 or 2 games where fans can go away, have a good drink, socialise and get to know each other again is a really good idea. I thought Como was absolutely brilliant, even though the money spent on that was astronomical. I just think that the break does people good, and people should use the break to go and do other things and get away from the football so that when you come back in August, you're full of, especially for a podcast or your social media accounts or whatever, you should come back fresh, have some fresh ideas, think about what's going on during the summer, and then just literally enjoy what's coming. We may finish in the bottom 3. Nobody knows. And that's the beauty of football and beauty of sport, is that next season, we don't know what's going to happen. But just remember, when you're going to football, it's about being with your mates. It's about having a drink. It's about socialising, right? People shouldn't get so het up on being promoted. Football is more than that, and supporting a football club is more than just being promoted. Set your expectations a little lower, right? And then you can't be disappointed. That's why I expect to lose every game 2-0.
Well, it's a good job Matt Olsen's not on here anymore because he expects to beat Man United 7-0 all the time. So, yeah. But no, well put, right, Warren, well put, mate. I think that's why we've there's a few things we had in the pipeline for the summer, but we kind of sacked them off because, you kind of need a break. There isn't necessarily so much of a break because you're constantly getting messages, constantly getting asked things, and obviously with working as well, it can get a bit much. But we always try and be an inclusive place for everyone, male, female, whatever. Just give us a chat, send us a message if you need to. I do appreciate that a lot of people suffer with mental health issues, and we are sponsoring a charity football game soon for Mind. To raise money for them. It's a very important charity, so definitely head over. I will post it on socials as well, so we're sponsoring them. But before we go, boys, I know it's really early, but do you have a kind of a little bit of a thought of where you expect or think we will finish next season? Warren, I'll go with you. Just one position answer.
21st.
Okay, David.
I think we will come about 9th.
Yeah. And Tom?
Yeah, I had 10th in my head, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I had 8th, so just missing out on the playoffs basically. But it would be nice. It's one of them, as Warren said. Don't really expect the world. Don't expect to get promoted. I think that we have been quite guilty of that in the last few seasons. I do think that Joe Comper and Shannon coming out when Gareth was unveiled and said, we've been focusing on the end target rather than thinking of how to get there. I think that was quite refreshing. I think that we should definitely rein in our expectations for next season. But anything bigger would be a bonus. So, so I think we're all done, boys, and appreciate everyone that's tuned in so far. I think we've got a few comments. Let's have a quick look. Middle third would be great, and that's from Andy. Appreciate your comment, Andy. Can't wait to see the fans and friends I've made over the years from Steve. And apparently Nathan's just clipped your porn comment, Warren. So there you go, mate.
Right, I'll tell you, Nathan.
For what purpose?
Right, Nathan is my mate's son, and he's been with me all week on work experience. And
okay.
He's done really well, but tomorrow is going to be my bitch.
It's going to be his text alert, isn't it?
I
watched porn.
He'll be watching. The boy's 15. He's bound to be watching porn at the moment.
Yeah. Well, at least we've diverted from David.
Can we end it? Can we just cut it out now? It's going that dark.
From David loving the D at the end of the day. So David's sitting there smarting about it, really. But so we are pretty much at the end. We're just say a quick goodbye. If you haven't already, then please follow us or subscribe on the View from the Medway Facebook page, the View from the Medway Fancast on YouTube, and the View from the Medway Fancast or TVFTM on X. We will probably be back now. I don't want to say a definite, but probably a week before the season starts. And then we will talk about what we really expect from us of the season. If we have more signings or if we don't, players going in and out, still quite a while off. So, we will probably be back the week before. I don't know what date that falls on, but apologies for the lateness this evening. There was traffic coming home from work, so can't be helped. But if we're done, any last words from the three of you?
No, mate, we're all good.
All good, thank you.
Nothing from me, mate. I was waiting for Warren to say something.
Oh, me all.
Yeah.
Always.
Say something, and you're expecting it. It's not so funny, is it?
I think we need to blog your away days. Warren's travels. I think that needs to be from next year.
There we go. Yeah,
I did try a couple of times last year where I was on Twitter and I was doing an update where I was in regards to my journey. But I think you really need to.
How many pints do you do throughout the whole season? Have a poll.
Oh, mate, I normally do 6 to 8 to make it look good before a game.
We won't talk about Bromley away when he had anyway. So guys, if we've all finished, we are at the end. So I've been Chris, he's been Tom, he's been David, he's been Warren. Good night. And up the jewels.